Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Lazuardi, and I'm going to presentate my lesson plan that I'm going to teach in the specific classroom. Let's get to it. Okay, so this is my lesson plan. My name is Lazuardi, and name of the school is SMA Detroit Lions. Subject is in English, and the grade is class 12. And the topic is May I Help You? The text type is interpersonal text. The skill that needs to be aware of is writing and speaking. And the time allocation is 1 times 15 minutes. Okay, all of the core competencies are still the same, and we go to the basic competence and indicators of competence achievement. For the basic competence, there are 3.1 and also 4.1. For the 3.1 is applying social function, text structure, and language features of spoken and written interactional interpersonal texts involving the expression of asking for and giving a help or services and appropriate responding based to the function. And indicators of competence achievement based on the 3.1 is to identify, to compare, and to decide or select appropriate expressions of asking and giving a help or services. For the 4.1 is arranging simple spoken and written interactional interpersonal texts involving the expression of asking and giving help or services, and responding by observing the social function, text structure, and also the language features based on the context. And for the indicators of competence achievement based on the 4.1 is to create a short and simple conversation and also to perform the expression of asking and giving a help or services. Okay, as you can see, there's a learning objective, and in the end of the class, there's 2 results. The students will be able to analyze interpersonal text about asking and giving a help or services in an appropriate and suitable way. And the second one is the students will be able to express their own interpersonal text about asking and giving a help or services. And there's 4 attitude values focus that needs to be pay attention more. The first one is religious, nationalist, integrity, and also the last one is mutual cooperation. Go to the learning materials. For the first one is regular learning materials, that is starting, responding, even though it's expected or unexpected, and also the concept. They had 2 explanation about asking and giving for help. The first one is asking for help is an expression to ask for someone's services or help in order to make his or her work very easy to do. And the second one is giving a help. It's an expression to give someone a help from the activity that he or she cannot do it. These are the examples of asking and giving a help. As you can see in here, you can see it in my lesson plan in the PDF format. And we go to the principle for the generic structure. The purpose is asking for and giving a help or services. And also the procedure, write and practice interpersonal text about asking and giving a help or services. Second one is learning materials for remedial and interpersonal text about asking and giving a help or services is suitable, interesting, and also appropriate by asking and giving a help or services. Third one is learning materials for enrichment. The social function, general structure, and also the language features and interpersonal text in formal conversation. We go to the learning methods. There are 2 learning methods that need to be paying attention more. The first one is approach, and the second one is learning model. First one is approach. I use scientific approach, and the learning model I use CLT, communicative language teaching. For the learning media I use 3: LCD projector, laptop, and also textbook. And there's a learning process, learning source. There are 4 learning sources that I use: Kementerian Pendidikan Kebudayaan, buku siswa mata pelajaran Bahasa Inggris kelas 12, and 1 video based on the YouTube, model learning materials, and also other relevant sources that it can be useful to learn the materials in the classroom. Okay, we go to the teaching and learning activity. For the first one, there's an opening activity that will be consumed for about 2 minutes. The teacher will give the orientation, perception, and also motivation and giving references to the students. For the orientation, doing the opening and reciting salam and praying to start the lesson will be considered as a religious. Checking the present list and also preparing the students to follow the process of learning interpersonal texts. Perception, connecting the learning materials, Team activities to the students' experience in the previous level, reminding of the progress of material by asking the students and asking the question related to the lessons that will be done. For the motivation, giving the description of benefit to learn the materials. If this material team project has done well and seriously, the students will be able to explain the expression of asking and giving a help services, telling learning objectives to the student and asking the questions, and also giving references, telling the students about the materials that will be discussed today, telling the core competence, basic competence, and also indicators and minimum graduation, dividing learning group, explaining mechanism of the implementation of learning experiences based on the learning steps. And also in the main activity, there will be teaching and learning activities, stimulation. As you can see, students are given motivation or stimulation to focus attention on the topic by doing some viewing, observing, reading, listening, and others. I think that is the literation activities. You can see it from my lesson plan. It will be consumed for about 12 minutes. And also there's a critical thinking. It will be considered as a problem statement, even though it's from question or problem identification. The teacher gives the student the opportunity to identify as many questions as possible related to the expression of asking and giving a help or services, and will be answered to learning activities like what is the expression of asking for help, what is the purpose of asking for help. That is the example of asking the questions about the material that needs to be teach in the classroom. Okay, as you can see, the next one is the collaboration and critical thinking. Students will gather relevant information to answer the question that have been identified through the activity. The first one is observing the object or phenomena, interviewing the informant, collecting information, and reading other sources beside textbook. And also they represent some kind of the activities. Learners do the following activities like the students work in pairs to create a conversation about asking and giving help or services. Student A asks for help and student B gives a help. And after that, both of the students will switch the roles and they will have a discuss and also review, and they will exchange information about what are the expressions in asking and giving a help or services. Okay, next one is critical thinking. They will have a data processing in this section. Students in their groups discuss processing the observational data in a way, discussing about the data, how to identify, describe, and create a simple conversation about asking and giving a help that are interesting and very precise. And also all of this data that have been collected and summarized in previous activities. The next one is processing information that have been collected from the result of previous activities and also some meanings as well, and the students doing their performance in making and practicing conversation of asking and giving help or services. The next one is the verification, still in critical thinking. Learners discuss the results of their observations and verify the results of their observation with data or theory in the source book through activities. And also they will present it in front of the class. They're about asking and giving help or services. And the last one is communication, generalization. And the students are discussing to summarize, deliver the results of discussion in form of conclusions based on the results of the analysis verbally, and presents the result of the classical group discussion, express opinions on presentation, ask about the presentation and other students, and summarize the important points and many more from this lesson plan. You can read it in my PDF format. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, what was it? Okay. And there will be a closing activity. The closing activity will be consumed for about like 1 minute. The students will be make a summary with the guidance of the teacher about the important points that emerge in a new learning activities carried out, and it will be scheduled for homework and scheduled for projects that must be studied at the next meeting outside school hours or at home. The teacher will check students' work completely immediately. Students who have completed the project correctly are initiated and given a ranking number for the project assessment, and the teacher will give awards to groups that have a good performance and collaboration. We'll go to the last one is assessment, remedial enrichment, assessment technique. As you can see, I use same assessment technique by the Miss Daya gave, and you can see I still use the same rubric and still use the same condition based on the lesson plan that Miss Daya gave to the group, since it has a efficient and also good quality to assess the student, and many more based on the attitudes and behaviors and also their knowledge process to to learn in the classroom. As you can see, there's a few students name that I put in the rubric: Soap, Gas, Wolcroft, Griffin, and also the note: religious, nationalist, integrity, mutual cooperation. These four of it as assess behavioral aspects, and they include it in the rubric. And also some kind of cognitive, psychomotor, and there's a rubric again. This rubric aspects of writing assessment, including suitability, grammatical, vocabulary, and also clarity of meaning. There are points and also the description from the points itself. It will give you a description from the points itself, whether it is right or wrong. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you. Hope you guys enjoy my videos. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.